West, y'all.
Oh, God damn it. Just throw me under the bus, God damn it. Welcome everyone to another episode of Ria and these two.
Wow, you're welcome. You're so welcome.
Welcome to AFAKASI Scoop and welcome you to Eggs. I'm so happy to see you two again on here.
So happy.
Honest promise.
Very.
Hey, we've had a lot of messages from listeners about marriages in particular, and there was a bit of a common theme coming through from private messages about maybe unhappy marriages. So we thought we'd look into it and just kind of explore that topic to help some of our listeners out, hopefully help some of our listeners out. So one of the things we did see look at is just the general internet search on you know, unhappy marriages, all that kind of thing, and we came across this this BuzzFeed where people who I guess were in marriages and wrote in about their experiences. A lot of it was about settling as well, so you know, that kind of stuff. I'll just read a couple just to kind of set the tone for what we're kind of looking at here. So one of them said about their marriage, it's sad and boring but safe. I do miss the one sometimes, but we're just friends and we could never be more than that. It's either this or total solitude, so at least I have companionship, sex, and someone who truly loves me. Of course, I would give my right arm to have my true love, but here we are. And we were reading this and going, oh, ouch, man, that's like straight to the heart stuff, right? And actually, that was another common theme that came through. It's not just about being unhappy in your marriage, but also wanting someone else, or like, you know, the one or the true love or the whatever else it is. And this other one I came past and it said, it's okay, I'm just waiting for it to end. Talking about their marriage.
Oh, wow.
I was like,
oh, a man. Was it a man or a woman?
I don't know actually, because it's all anonymous, so I don't know. But
do they know when it's going to end though? Or?
No, so I think the common theme from this was a lot of people just stay in it, you know, so we'll go through some of that as well. But yeah, I guess that was just kind of the stuff that came up when we were looking into this, and also to some of the stats that we came across as well, which we did put on Facebook and Insta, which we'll go into a little later on. But one of them was 73% of people in the survey are saying that they just make do in their relationship because their true love got away. That's 73%. Like that's
over half the
massive.
Population, man. Hey, this my mess, man. That was fast, man. Fast.
That's why your teacher.
No,
Every
man.
second person, every second partners around here, man.
And then they go on to say what's worse is that 17% of those people said that they have met their soulmates when it was too late, so after they were already married. And then the one that we put on Insta and Facebook was 46% say that they'll leave their spouse or partner to be with their true love. And
So when that's
some hard
different, though.
stats,
Yeah.
man. That's hard. Yeah.
Like, there's people that, to be honest, who's going to be bold enough to just leave their partners and go to their true love? You know, it comes up, that's what they'd like. 40-something% would like to do that. But actually, how many would have, you know, to go do it?
The balls.
To actually leave and go.
It's not many. There's probably
and that's
two
why you have
people.
so many
There's
of them.
probably only 2 people I know in my circle who have done that.
Damn.
That's
And their names are
74% of Gary the Boy.
Oh, wow. I like, this one was a bit weird. Like, I was reading the same thing. It has gotten better with work. He's a good man and I love him, but I never fell in love with him. At the time we met, I didn't want or need that. I needed safety and stability. Now that we've settled into life together, I've embraced those traits he brings, and when I get the urge for something exciting, I find it in other ways. So what does that say?
What kind of ways?
Like,
That he's enjoying the other ways.
but she's learning to fall in love with him? Like, she hasn't
Yeah.
fallen in love with him. And I think she's just settled to the fact that she's accepted the fact that she's not gonna fall in love with him. And if she wants something exciting, I'm just gonna go play golf
Find it.
or play
Because
tennis.
that is them.
Yeah.
It's so exciting.
Yeah, what will satisfy you?
Yeah.
Like, you know, not a sex, but other things. What would you do if you were this chick? What would you do that would excite you? Cynthia?
Well, I was just blanked out
What do you mean? I'm not
Because the
boring.
stories are so sad.
because I'm looking at my other story over here.
Yeah. What's
What's your story?
Sin?
So the one that I was reading on here was interesting. It's going. I know it's not right, but he is a good person. Sometimes I want so much more. Right now, it will cost me so much to leave, and I do have love for him. But our children have a great support system between us, and we have a decent life, and that's what matters right now.
So staying in it for the stability, which is like a bit like what T was saying, is that, you know, you stay because it's safe and
Yeah,
it's, you
yeah.
know, reliable,
Yeah.
but it's not that happy, excited
No.
type stuff.
It just
right?
becomes harder when there's children involved.
Yeah,
That's
for
it.
sure.
I
But do-
reckon if sorry, go.
No.
Oh, I reckon if there weren't kids involved in a lot of these marriages, those people would have, the percentage of numbers of people going to be with their soulmates will be so much higher. But I think once the kids are involved, there's that mentality that everything has to be, you know, you got to have the family unit, the old school's way of thinking.
Yeah.
Keeping the parents together, having the
Yeah.
kids together, and then of course it's the look of shame that you get when you split. It's
Yeah.
that original, you know, you're scared for people to look like you failed in your marriage.
Yeah.
Even regardless if both of you have decided, look, you're not the one, I'm not, you know, I want other things, we want other things.
Yeah.
Between you two, that's all good. But then when it comes to other family members, unfortunately, we base a lot of our decisions, you know, based on what other people will think. Mm-hmm. And that sucks balls. That's my 5 cents.
That's it, podcast over.
Finish,
Yeah.
man.
Drop the mic. Drop the mic.
Boom.
No, I totally agree with you, T. Like, in terms of, I think every couple secretly has that, you know, like they think, they have that little voice in their head that, what if, you know, on some days they don't have a good day and, you know, you second guess. But I think secretly everyone has that little doubt in them with their
some point.
relationship. Yeah, relationship or marriage, especially when kids come into play. But I think, and then, you know, finances, like you buy the house, you know, everything's together. It's just too hard to, to undo all that. Do you know what I mean? Like
To start from
some
scratch
just
again.
can't be bothered, or some just don't know how to start from scratch. So they're just better off settling, you know. And if something happens along the way, then it happens, and it finishes that way.
Yeah.
But it,
I think one of the messages that came through was it was difficult because they'd been in the marriage for a long time. And so, you know, at the beginning, so if we look at like some of the reasons why people get married in the first place, and I think it was actually mentioned on the last podcast, is no one gets married thinking about divorce, you know, or thinking that it's not going to last. You kind of get married thinking that this is going to be it, you know. And so if we look at some of the reasons why people get married, some of them are just really young, you know, and so when they're young, they've got the, you know, puppy love, and they haven't got the kids and the bills and all of that stuff yet. So it's kind of, you know, it's fresh and it's exciting. And so you just kind of think, you know, it's funny looking at some of the young ones now, and they're all like, oh, you know, getting engaged and stuff. And I'm just like, yeah, good luck, like, you know, because you know the reality of what happens after. But it is that kind of fresh, you don't know what's coming, you know. And so you are kind of going into it somewhat blindly.
yeah, and especially if you're young too, and you get together, and then you kind of grow up together. By the time you get to like your mid-20s or late 20s, you kind of like want different things.
Bored.
Yeah, you say it in such a nice way.
Sick of looking at their face.
Yeah,
Only straight facts
you
here,
kind of
man.
like, yeah, you kind of like outgrow each other. Like you want different things, and you kind of like, oh well, I want to go down this path, and that's what I reckon causes a lot of rift and arguments. Is that they're both wanting different things, and that's okay. I think it's okay because that's what happens when you get together young and you start growing up. You find what you want to do as an individual, not as a couple. But you can do that as a couple, but as an individual, you want goals. You've got your own goals too, you know, and that's okay. But yeah, I think talking from experience, being with someone young, you know, and then you're wanting something else and he's wanting something else, it becomes, yeah, I think that's one of the main problems or issues in marriages.
I think the
days.
other problem is like really similar to what you're saying, Sin, is that couples need to be careful not to lose themselves along the way. I think that's what happens.
Yeah.
Because there's a reason you're attracted to that person in the first place.
Yeah.
You know, and there's during the dating thing, you know, usually, well, there's two things that could happen. Number one, they could be eat-assing and you're dating them and it's not really their true selves. Or, you know, number two, you know, you're going through this stuff and I'm thinking, you know what I thought today? The problem, this might be the problem, we're not too sure. From my fun facts from my head today.
Oh, I've been telling everyone about your fun facts.
Man, here's one. You know what's the problem? It was our culture.
I was going to say that.
If you think about it, you know, you watch these American shows, these Balangi shows, they're like, kids are 14, 15, and they're, you know, starting to date, putting their feelers out. Whereas, come to us, you're not allowed to date anybody until you get a degree, you finish your high school, do it the other way round, you know, get a job.
I mean.
And then find a good man. One man. But that's why the the other cultures have advantages because they're dating early, they're putting feelers out, they're testing the waters.
So they kind of get a feel.
Yeah, but we're going to get a feel unless it was an undercover feel.
No.
So we get a, you know.
So, he touched me, I want to marry you now. That's how it is.
It's like that. It's almost like, what's that thing Cam was watching? That thing where you go to the beach and then they can't leave the beach because they're sick.
Oh, yeah, that program.
Yeah, so remember the couple was look at each other
movie.
and he was pregnant.
Yeah.
Oh, not him,
yes.
her. They did it in Mevalia, but still. So that's what I'm going back to the culture. I think culture plays a huge part in who we choose, who we end up with, how we choose our people. Whereas, even saying that, I still only my kids date early, you know. But yeah, putting feelers out.
One of the things too with the culture as well is when if the girl gets go, if she gets pregnant, and then it's like, right, you guys have to go get married. You know, like that was I remember that being a really big thing too when I was younger. That, you know, whoever got pregnant, if they, you know, that straight away. But you know, she's only just got pregnant, but they have to get married before the baby comes, so to, you know, so it's not so embarrassing or whatever to the family and stuff. And it's like, bro, how did they get married and she's having baby 3 months later? Something is up, you know, like, and unfortunately, because they are forced to get married, I mean, a lot of times it might have just been a hookup or a young love thing, but it doesn't mean that they need to be tied for the rest of their life by marriage. And then, you know, so they either end up in an unhappy marriage or divorce later on down the track because they didn't want it anyway, but because of culture and to hide the shame, you kind of have to, get married.
Yes. So it's what it's what people are gonna think. It all comes back to that, you know, the pride of the family. And unfortunately, sometimes it's the downside of who we are, you know, our culture. But I guess on the flip side, we're starting to open our eyes now to and accept what's happening in our society, you know, the modernization of things. But yeah.
I think, you're right too, because I remember when I was younger, and so I was 24 when I got married, but he was older. But the thing is that we couldn't. It probably felt a bit rushed because we couldn't actually live together until we were married, because that was the, because I was living with Nana, so it was all very strict Samoan kind of rules and that. And so yeah, it was like whereas now I guess people are living together first to kind of get to know each other and check their habits first and see if they can handle them long term. But whereas before, you actually get married first before you lived with them, and then knew what they were like, and then it's once you live together that you're like, hang on a minute, I didn't know that you did that. So yeah, that again I think is a real cultural thing as well. But then I guess when you get into that, and I guess what the listeners that had written in had a feeling at the moment is that for whatever reason you got into that marriage, I guess they can't quite pinpoint the time that it changed, like what happened and what changed. It's almost like it crept up on them. So I guess, should we talk about like what changes in a marriage, and what are some of the things that can happen throughout that changes, I guess, the dynamic of the marriage? One of them for me is kids. And the stress of kids and money, the reality of, paying bills and things like that, especially on women, I find that, when the kids are born, the pressure is on you to raise them. And you can often feel quite isolated at home if you're a stay-at-home mum, feel isolated looking after them while your husband's gone out to work or whatever. And then if they come home and they're not helping out, like that kind of stress, and if that's constant, then that can be quite a burden, I guess, that and create a rift between you and your husband. Yeah,
I think.
So have you got one?
Oh, you go, I think another one is, like I said before, where they just grow apart. Probably realizing they're wanting different things. Also, not having time together could be another one. So busy in life with work and responsibility that they don't have time for each other, so they kind of drift. And I think definitely, and it could lead to not being attracted to each other anymore. And then they're probably exhausted, or mum's exhausted, and the sex driver's not there, and that I hear that often. That mums are really tired, especially our days now that mums are working and also coming home and doing the mum jobs as well, and dads too. I know some dads that do that as well, which is awesome. But yeah, mums can be very exhausted too, that they don't want to, be intimate.
Give it up.
Yeah. And
don't touch me.
Yeah, and just roll over and start snoring away.
Hey, I found an article, Sin, and I'd like you to
I love it.
analyze it, okay? It's from Stuff, 18th of March 2014, okay? The truth is that women want sex as much as men do, and with lots of different partners.
Oh, wow.
Just saying.
Oh, wow.
According to a provocative investigation into female desire by an American author, Daniel Berner, they're just not being honest about they're just not being honest about it with themselves or anyone else. What do you think of that? Did they
they don't want to be honest about
saying they actually would like to be rah to people, but they want to be rah to lots of different people. Not just one person.
Well, maybe if you've been with someone for a long time, sometimes that could happen.
What?
That you might want to rah other people. Or
I was waiting for that.
Thinking about rah other people.
You got a scary rah, mate. Can you be like sexy?
I just want to say...
Don't do it again.
Someone messaged me about how fat this mic was, and I was just delete them,
Did you block them?
And I know you're listening to me right now. So, yeah, leave my mic alone, okay?
What did they say? Do you have details?
Yeah. She goes, oh.
Say it in the
Yeah,
love
what
song.
is it?
She goes,
Oh.
oi, you, makwaikelelo mai, okay? I bet you like speaking into it. And I said, you know what, bitch, you haven't had it for a while. Ese amia your eyes are looking at right now, you know? Yeah,
Anyway.
you know who you are.
Do you think it's true or not?
Do I think it's true? Yes, I do think it's true. Yeah. Because I please sing it, man.
Low experience.
Oh, wow.
Every freaking podcast, it's always, what's your experience?
Yeah, because you've got a lot to share, in your time on Earth.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, wow.
Okay, sorry, Ria, carry on. What were you saying?
Nothing.
Do you agree, Ria?
I'm just gonna wait. I'm just waiting for my popcorn.
Oh, sorry.
No, Ria, do you agree to what T said?
What, that woman want to go and row someone else?
Multiple rows.
How about different choices?
Yeah.
I think if they're not in love, then
Oh,
yes.
just a yes or no,
You're
man.
so romantic, man, but you yes or no?
No, I seriously think if you're in love with that person, with your husband or whatever, that you don't want to row anyone else. It's when things start to go south that you're like start looking, So one of the things that, like, especially if other people start taking interest in you, and then you start noticing, actually, this guy's giving me more attention than my husband right now. And then all of a sudden you're like, something you hadn't thought about before is all of a sudden like, I wonder
Funny
if,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what switches chicks, though.
Yeah.
As soon as a guy starts showing them some sort of, positive attention, not rapist attention, but actual want to talk, show some gear,
Yeah.
then they'll be like, oh, rah,
Okay, how would you guys, say, because you're in a wonderful relationship and someone comes to you and tries to hit on you, right? They're trying to row you. How would you stop them? T?
rah.
Oh.
Hey, I had to laugh at this chick at Hangover. Hey, she was so onga, and like we were just the guy that came to clear the table, and she goes, "I'm married." I'm like, "Calm down, man. He's just clearing the table."
Oh, wow. Oh, you're those ones. Just making up your own raft.
It's like, we get it, man. You're married.
We get it. The whole of Hanger gets it.
I hope your husband
Shush,
didn't
man. How would you stop it, Sin?
How would I stop it? I'm like, what's that nonsense you're talking about?
What a pusiki, mate. That's the biggest gab she's lying.
Oh, wow. And Ria?
How would
She
you
didn't
stop
forget
it?
you.
She sounded like those "get your filthy paws off my silky
That's
girls."
right. We, yeah.
Well, I'm like grease, mate.
Hard out. Yeah, no, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't what?
Oh, yeah. Oh, good girl.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
really
Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think that if you are totally in love with this person, you actually wouldn't notice those things, and you could quite easily brush it off. The problem happens is when there's a slight issue, or an issue in the marriage, and then all of a sudden these things, it's easier for these things to infiltrate the marriage.
And it's usually negative issues, little negative things, and I think it starts for chicks. I think in a marriage it starts when they have kids. It's the resentment. Do you notice that you don't mean for it to be that, but when you're stuck at home with this newborn baby, and then the hubby goes out to go to work, and you're at home the whole day, and you're tired, you've had to make the mea, all this stuff, and they come home, and you look at them like, bitch, go gut the whole day at work, and then you come here and just want your dinner. You know, that thing sort of starts to come into play. So already you're being changes too. You know, from what you were together before the children, you're being changes, and that sort of goes over to the husband, and then that sort of, yeah. Growing up, you just sort of part ways, because I think some people think that they can change their partners. They see the potential in their partners, and they think, you know, she's going to make a good wife. You know, she's going to know how to cook and clean.
It's funny,
you know,
that
she's
I
going to
saw
be a good
something
mum.
about that too. Like, do people go into a relationship because they can see the potential in a relationship? Like, oh, I can so see us buying a house together because he's financially blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Or do you see the red flags instead?
No one sees red flags at the beginning.
No one sees,
Yeah.
so clouded.
Yeah, or they choose not to because they think, oh, he'll change or she'll change. You know?
Ain't that the classic?
Yeah.
He'll change. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just once this is done, you know, or once this is finished,
Yeah.
then you'll be all right. Once we're married, it will be different.
Then the red flags
Yeah,
come.
Molly, it's
you
the
see
same.
the red flags. Yeah.
Yeah.
I read that, and I was thinking the same thing too. I thought, I don't think everyone always sees potential, but you don't really see red flags until they're absolutely obvious.
Yeah,
You know, until after
because it's making you angry.
the marriage. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
you're
what are the
married.
things that would really stuff up a relationship then, a marriage? When do you know, hey, it's red flags, man? What are the red flags?
Red flags. I'm thinking those things those girls were talking about in the podcast.
Yeah. I think one of them is when you don't care what they're talking about anymore. Like, you're not interested in what they're talking about. So, like, you could be apart from them the whole day, and when they come home, they're trying to tell you something, and you're just like, yeah. Like, you know, like, you're not really invested. And when you would rather hang out with other people rather than, you know, your spouse.
That's so
There is a
true.
difference. Yeah, there is a difference. I mean, hanging out with your girlfriends every now and then, that's fine, you know. But if you would
Hang
rather
out
be
with
with
them.
your girlfriends 24/7 than come home and be with your partner, then it's like, yeah, there's something
Yeah.
wrong. Yeah.
Totally agree.
And maybe sharing as well. Sharing, like, you know, when something exciting happens to you and the first person you text to tell them, or the first person you ring to tell
Yeah.
them. Like, sometimes if it's not your partner and it's like, you know, either someone else or it's like, you know, your girlfriend and stuff,
Yeah.
then like big news
Yeah.
stuff. Like, if you got a promotion or something, you know, you'd think that, oh, I'm just going to ring my, you know, I'll ring my husband and tell him or whatever, you know. But if you're ringing your girlfriends, like,
But
instead,
if you win the lotto,
I'm not telling my husband, I'm just going to
exactly. Do you tell the girlfriend? See, that's a question. That's a tricky one, man. That's a tricky.
Yeah, true, man.
And this guy's frozen.
I think we've lost T.
She'll probably come back.
She'll hopefully make her way back in. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are the other signs you think, Sin, that that you're not really interested in the relationship anymore?
When he talks to you like he can't be bothered. When he talks down to you and he doesn't even see it. Or just doesn't, like you guys said, not paying attention. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, that's a real funny one, because I remember, you know, in the marriage, it was like, I used to have a real big thing about him drinking with his mates. And, you know, there's been a lot of reflection afterwards. But for me, I thought that meant that he didn't care, like, you know, about me. And talking about it later, he's like, actually, no, it was just his way of releasing, you know, a day, like a stress day and stuff. And when I look back at it, I was probably more dramatic than I needed to be.
Yeah.
But it's
exactly.
kind of like,
Yeah.
you know, your expectation on the other person, like, oh no, I expect you to come home and want to hang out with me. So when you're coming home and hanging out with your boys, or, you know, calling other people to come over for a drink, that seems like a disrespect to me.
Yeah.
And it
I get
seems
that.
like you know, you don't want to be with me, and so it causes that kind of that rift,
Yeah.
you know. And yeah.
Yeah, I totally
Yeah.
get that. Yeah, I feel the same way too. Like, I always think, when is it? Oh, thank you for coming back.
Oh, sorry.
Back.
Should have just stayed off.
I knew it was going to miss me.
She was
Oh, no,
sorry,
we're just
man.
going to wrap it up and stuff.
What I said.
We already talked about
Can you go back and rewind? What did you say?
We were talking about why we don't want you in our relationship anymore.
Yeah, we want to
Everyone
cut
wants
you off.
me in their relationship. Thank you. What's your reason?
Is that right? Tell us about your experiences.
Yeah, go, Sin.
Ready for you.
I can't. I might embarrass them all.
Oh.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Oh wow! We're talking about this, like, kind of the signs that show that you're not interested in your partner anymore.
Oh,
that
yeah.
that you're not interested in your partner, or your partner's not interested in you.
One
What
of
are
the
some
ones we said was, if we win the lotto, it might be the girlfriends first,
Yeah,
that we
I
tell?
think so.
I said that's going to be a hard one.
If we win the lotto and we don't answer our phone, you're not the one.
You're not the one,
anymore.
man.
If
Sorry.
you ring your girlfriends first to go on holiday, you're not the one. Sorry. Sorry, Gab.
I reckon the cracks come through when they sort of start to who you hang out with. It is the controlling of your guy mates, controlling of who your mates are. Like they start to say they don't like them because of this reason, that reason. Those are major red flags because that's already someone trying to tell you who your friend should be. Because I guess when you get married to someone, like, and I think I've said it before, when you get married to someone, you're still that person who grew up as, like, for me, I'm Tony. I grew raised by Maluanlive, this individual person, and then when you marry someone, you expect that person to be your other half. Don't try to change you. You came to this, you were attracted to this. This is me. This is who I am. Why start taking, because once they start taking those bits and pieces from you, you lose who you were. You lose who you were as a person, and you start to feel this empty shell, and then you start to feel like you are nothing. You feel you are useless. You start to question yourself, but then you get mad. And it's like, I think that's when you really got to start to think, is it worth it? I'm going to keep going through this for ages and ages. And I guess it's really up to the person whether they leave or not. Because sometimes it's a really toxic relationship. They don't know it's toxic. They don't realize it's toxic. And yet they're the people that go to their mates, and they talk to their mates about it. The mates are always, usually I find girls are really good at giving advice to, I can't talk on behalf of guys. I don't really know. But when those alarms go off, and I think when your mates are trying to tell you stuff, stop trying to be fia poko sometimes, because I do that a lot. I fia poko heaps of times, to these two especially. Mm-hmm. But in the end, I sit back and I think about it. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's really up to the person how they feel, because I know it's not easy to just leave.
No.
It's really hard. You got to weigh up so much. And then some people just can't be asked with the hassle of doing it.
Yeah.
Because they're thinking, the kids are okay, they're happy. So I can just deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just settle. Though,
yeah.
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 Which brings us to some of the answers that were on Instagram that we had up. So one of them was so interesting that I had it ready and I just went out of it. Easy option is always settle. Hardest thing to do, let go of what I settled for.
That's so sad. When I saw those Insta answers coming through, honestly, it was so freaking heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Just to think that there are so many people there that are in things that, in a relationship or marriage that they just, and that they'll be happy with someone else.
Yeah.
Like that, and you just, that's. But she's right. It is really, really the hardest thing, and it's it takes a lot to. you weigh up so much as well. Like when I left my marriage, that was probably, I mean, that would have been one of the hardest things as well that I've had to do because the kids were young.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just, and we're Samoan as well, so divorce isn't really a thing. So to walk away from that and not be sure, like you don't even know what you're going to, you don't know what's out there, and that's the uncertainty of where you're going to end up, and what are they going to be angry, and is this going to be a big thing, are we going to go through divorce court, and how are the kids going to feel, and are they going to blame me when I'm older because I left their dad and stuff like that. All of that plays through your mind, and so some people just stay in it because it's easier than having the fight. And especially if there's assets involved, if there's homes and things, and it's like, well, where am I gonna go, how can I afford another house, and it's
I
just
agree.
horrible.
Another one was, at the time I didn't realize I was just settling.
That's like a common thing amongst so many people.
And you don't, You
Yeah.
don't know that you're settling.
You don't even know what settling is when you actually settle.
No,
Not really.
Yeah.
No.
Unless you settle again at 45.
Yeah.
Then do it properly.
I'm going
Okay.
to.
Don't feel like
gonna
like
go
if you come
properly,
50
okay?
for divorce, mate. Okay?
Mate.
I'm too old to be a flower girl.
We're gonna upgrade you to maid of honor.
I'll be a flower girl. Hey, the hukua lele, yeah.
You can just open the door to us. Thank you. Yes,
Wow.
at the time they didn't realise it. Yes.
Okay, I'm just going to paint all over your belly, mate. Yeah. That's right.
This one was, I settled because I was 2 kids into it. That's another common one too.
Yeah, the kids stay in it for the kids. Yeah, I was talking to a lady though whose parents were together, and then the dad ended up passing away. But she said that it was for them as kids, it was such a toxic relationship that when they got older, they were saying to the mum, you should have left.
Yeah.
We would have been happier if you left. But the mum thought she was doing the right thing by staying, And it's not till the kids are older and can verbalize it that, that the truth actually comes out. So that's a real hard thing too, because as parents, you always try and do the right thing by your kids. And, but there never is the right thing, eh? It's just, you just never know.
You don't know.
No.
Because that could go on for ages. You could be saying when the kids are little, like, I'll wait till they're grown up a bit. And they get to intermediate level, I'll wait till they finish school.
Yeah, school.
Then it gets like,
Yeah.
wait till they leave home.
Yeah.
And by then, might as well just go whakau your coffin, mate, because it's nearly time to go. And then you wasted your life.
Because when they're
You're not
Samoan,
living
they never leave
you're
home.
not living your best life.
Yeah.
Okay? Do, 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 do. Go clapping.
All up in the clubs at 40.
And then go back to church.
Oh my God. That's so true.
Yeah, there was a Facebook poll as well, just asking, are you with your true love? And 67% said yes, 33% said no. Then, of course, we understand that not a lot of people will get on there and be honest about, and say that they're not.
But still, there was 33, like still.
That's it,
That says a lot
Yeah,
too.
it really does. And it really, it sucks, eh? So, I mean, I guess we kind of already talked about why people stay in unhappy relationships. Hey, it's like the kids and things like that. And the religious, for us, religious and cultural beliefs is a lot of it. The fear of judgment.
Also family violence. I'm going to add that in there. Being scared to leave because of that. Because that's massive too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also too, scared to be alone. Like especially if you've been in it from when you were young, you don't know what it's like to
to be alone.
be by yourself. And and that's a really hard one. And I guess we kind of picked that up from the last podcast about dating after 40, is that a lot of times after separation you just jump into the next thing and the next thing very quickly because you don't want to be by yourself, but they end up being quite toxic. But being scared to be alone, but it sucks because you don't want that to be a reason to stay in something, because you can be alone in a marriage as well. You know, you can just be, they can be right next to you and you're the loneliest you'll ever be then if you're by yourself, which is so depressing. That's such a depressing topic. It's like, I know.
Did you guys watch Scenes from a Marriage?
No, I didn't get to do that one. Watch that one yet.
I advise every couple to go watch it on Netflix. Scenes from a Marriage is... It's exactly what we're talking about, but it focuses on one couple and the ups and downs of their marriage, and it just shows you the different kind of communication they had and didn't have, which they probably thought they did, but
Is it a movie or a documentary?
No, it's just episodes. Series. And I think every marriage watching that can relate to each scene, which is so an eye-opener, I think.
What stood out for you? Like, give some examples.
What stood out for me was... Oh, here we go. Spoiler alert.
No, just one, because I still got to watch it.
Don't listen to this part if you haven't watched it.
Yeah. Okay. So the wife, he's asking for a divorce now because the wife took off with a younger guy and left him with their daughter. So you can already see that they've got issues, and she just up and left. And it just shows him trying to deal with all this as well as doing this daughter. She comes back out of nowhere and tries to... It's like she was trying to have her cake and eat it too in some way. Anyway, they got back. She tried to get back with them and stuff, I think. And he was seeing a therapist, and he learnt to get over it and to say no to her if she came again and things like that. It was just the process of actually trying to finish from somebody. So we've got one episode left, apparently, but I thought it was over. But now he's at the stage where he's trying to get a divorce and she just won't let go. So he realised, so he had sex with her.
No, don't say anymore.
Oh. No?
No.
So
you have to go watch it.
Flipping with the ex.
And people are going to be like, see, why'd you stop her, you bee?
I reckon. I'm like, come on, man. She could save me hours of binge watching this thing.
Watch it.
Right. It'll be in detail if you go and watch it, but I'll just tell you the
pull out, wait, go. I like open block.
So it's kind of like he tested himself. So he has sex with her and then talks to her after and tells her that, okay, I had sex with you and for once I didn't feel anything. There was nothing there. So he's pretty much saying he knows he's over her now. And then she said, oh, I lost my job. I'm not with the guy anymore. And he said, oh, well, I hate to tell you, but I don't care.
Yeah, makia, yeah.
Not my problem.
Yeah, so and I was shocked because I thought, oh, fuck, he's going to take her back. He's going to go, they're going to get back together. But yeah, it was so interesting, I was just like, am I watching my ex marriage?
Watching my life?
What's going on here, mate?
Who read my diaries?
I reckon, this is my movie, man. But it's actually based from a movie. Oh, I won't say, I can't remember where it was, from back in the 60s. So they just redone it again. But it's so good. And it's so good to watch by yourself or with your partner. Yeah.
Or if you're by yourself, watch it by yourself, okay?
You might do those ones with your partner. Yeah. Are you watching? Taking notes? Yeah.
Your partner's watching the movie and you're like looking at him.
Yeah, it's those ones. See, that's like you. That's like you. Blah, 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 blah,
The partner's going to be like, and who told you to watch this rubbish? Right?
Are you trying to tell me something?
Her name's Sin.
Whatever.
Isn't that such a common thing though? Is women and men, thinking that their grass is greener on the other side,
always.
And so they step out of the marriage to go, and then when it turns to
Kaka.
Jokes. I didn't mean it.
No, for real now. I'm gonna make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she was pretty much saying that.
That'll be a good one to. How long is it? Oh no, it's a season.
It's
no.
Yeah,
Yeah, how many seasons?
Yeah.
Just one. I think it's only 5 episodes or 4.
Oh yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
Can watch it in a night.
Yeah,
so
you would too.
Yeah, I would, unfortunately. So I guess we've talked about why people end up in a marriage. They don't really think it's anything's going to go bad, and then why it does go bad, and kind of what it looks like when it is turning sour, and then why people stay. And so I guess really want to move on to, so what do you do? Because this is the people that reach out to us are kind of just saying, we're in this, and we don't know what to do, and so I wanted to have a look at, what kind of advice, I guess, or what are the solutions to, the people that are in this kind of thing, unhappy relationship. I think one of the things you brought up, T, was the abuse and stuff. For me, it's a deal breaker, like the physical abuse and stuff. So when we're talking about working on it, for myself, I would say if it was physical abuse, then it's not something I would work on. It would be like, that for me, that's a deal breaker, So when I talk about working on stuff, it's not that they're excluded from that conversation for me. So, but what are, and so can I just make another disclaimer that if you are if you do decide to stay in it and to work on it, then make that decision, and do it wholeheartedly, because if you're halfway in and halfway out, then it's the things that you're going to try aren't going to work, completely. So, So one of the things one of you already raised was about communication, and getting therapy and counsellor. Islanders aren't really big into counselling. It's not really a norm.
Because it's airing your grapes.
It is, yeah, and you don't want to do that to a stranger. So, but yeah, I think communication is a big thing. Start communicating a bit more, and seek help and help for yourself too. Like if your partner won't go to counselling, then go get help for yourself as well, I think, as well.
And if they're not up for counselling, then that's another red flag.
It's a sign, Yeah. And what about you guys? What else can you do to make it work?
Christine, let's speak about it.
To make the marriage work, I think between you or like yourself, or like, are you talking like both of you?
If you decide to stay in the marriage, and you want to work at it, see, because if we remember these people, the listeners are having doubts about their marriage.
Oh, right.
They kind of have maybe fallen out of love, or they don't have that same feeling. So what is it that they do if they decide to stay? What do they do?
I think just be honest to yourself, first and foremost. If you're going to stay, like you said, make sure you're doing it 100%. Go fully in. If you don't want to, well, for me, if it was my partner now, I think if there was something wrong, I think what I would do is I would tell him. I would talk to him and tell him straight up that there's something wrong. And be honest with him and see if he's actually feeling the same way, or is there something that we need to do to work on together, or just quit it, gut it off, just gut.
That's savage.
Yeah,
man.
but I think, I'd be honest to myself and know what I really want. And then I would the respect I have for my partner, I would talk to him and tell him straight up.
I like communicating. I'm a talker. So talking for me advice is to talk, but if you're with a partner who doesn't like talking because they get angry easily, and there's no point, then I would encourage people to talk to somebody, talk to anybody, talk to friends. It's always good to vent. And that way it's, that you're not really, you feel alone when you're in the house with the person, but when you're with your mates or your family members, you're not so alone. And I think if you already know that I think people will know when they're near that point of I've had enough. I think have a plan in place. Start to have it in the back of your head. If shit, he's going to go off at me again, or she's going to do this again, or she's going to make, then you're like, look, shit, I've had enough. Have a plan in place. Maybe it's for me, if I had something like that happen with Tau, I'd come and talk to you guys, and then we'd have a plan and I'd know what to do. I wouldn't be so scared. Let's say he was abusive. He's not, but let's say he's abusive and he punched my mouth or something.
I wish. Yeah.
Give us an excuse to come punch him in the face.
I might talk to him about that.
Yeah, I have a talk to him. So if he was punch me and stuff, let's say it happened at 2:00 or something at night because let's say he got home late and he was drunk and the shit wasn't cleaned or something. I'd probably be ready at that point to go, and then I'll go straight to somebody's house. But then again, there's all that fear. Oh my gosh, he's going to know whose house I'm going to go to. I want to, so there's always that sort of stuff. So I think, in all honesty, plan your escape. If you're going to run away, man, plan it properly. Don't bring your best friend because that's where they're going to go, you value.
Yeah.
Ring us, the plan.
And we'll give you a plan. Okay, we'll give you a plan.
Yeah. Get a new cell phone.
Yeah.
Block everything.
Get a wig.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, you guys watch too many movies,
Get
man.
a moustache.
Be a guide now.
Yeah, we've got to be a dude, man.
Be a guide now.
Yeah, buy lots of socks.
Why?
That's a good question. Come back to you later.
Because he's male, you're male now? Is that
I'm
what?
going to be.
Okay.
Okay,
don't forget the socks, people.
Anyway, yes, my advice is stop ignoring the red flags. But it's like I said, I hate giving advice because you can't. You can just say, but at the end of the day, I could be the biggest hypocrite.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to tell people what's going on.
Because you don't know unless you're in it.
But I don't want to say, it's easy for you to just go. Because I haven't been in it, so I don't know. But it's like, just look after yourself. Like at the end of the day, you were born an individual human being. He or she does not own you in any sense. So you need to put that in your head. Because if they say, look, you're my wife, you're my husband. Excuse me, that's only a piece of paper. We are not blood related. You don't owe me. God's my dad. Who are you?
Yeah. You don't get married to own somebody.
That's it. When ownership comes into play, it's like, oh,
I don't understand that. So, I'm like, I pretty much don't want to get married then, if that's the case.
You're angry at these people who don't even know the people. Don't know me, man. Don't come right up to me. Just come at me out across from Lincoln Road, man.
Your advice.
Okay?
Yeah, okay, sis. You'll rent it out.
That's my opinion. Carry on.
Wow, who can beat that? Holy shit!
She'll beat herself.
She'll beat herself in the room.
Man.
Tel's probably going, what the hell is she
What the hell is she on?
I think she's screaming at me from the room.
Esa le screaming like fight dear.
With dear,
Oh gosh. Anyway, I did have a look at what some of the advice is, in case we had none.
I don't
which
think anyone
clearly
needs it now.
don't
That
really
was
have.
enough
We already
advice,
did it,
mate.
man.
I don't think so. One of the ones I think that is really, really important is if you decide to stay in the marriage and you want to make it work, is to work on yourself. Is to not become so sad and depressed about the thing that you just, like T says, lose yourself. But it's more about finding yourself again and building yourself up again, and get yourself happy. Like go and do something for you. If he doesn't want to be involved in it, then just kind of go and find your happy place and start. A lot of times it's isolation. You've been isolated from your friends and your family and stuff. Well, start messaging them. Start connecting with people again and creating those relationships.
But what
again.
happens if he doesn't let her?
Well, then that's a massive red flag, and then trying to work on it would be a problem, and I'd leave.
That's
You'd leave, but some girls don't leave. They can't. They're
Yeah.
stuck. Then what?
So even like finding something to work on. I mean, I always felt like I always liked learning new things, right? And so for me, it was studying and learning something new. And it was funny, like you say, an escape plan. T. It almost is like one, So things are going wrong. It's like, okay, well, if this ends, what am I going to do after this to look after myself and stuff like that? So for me, it was like get educated, and then I have a better chance at getting a good job when I get out of this kind of thing, So yeah.
I'll tell if the person couldn't, I'll tell her to go to her parents' house or him, whoever, if it's a chick or a guy. If their parents are still around, that's actually the safest place to go, I would think.
And it's also the hardest though.
Yeah, because your parents would see.
a lot of times you hide stuff from
Siblings?
your parents that you don't. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you hide from your siblings too.
Oh my goodness. So you've got like actually
You don't want to tell them the truth.
You hide from your siblings too.
nothing can be done until you wanting to do it yourself. Or
Because you
else
feel like-
it's just going to be the same.
I think they feel like they're a burden on their siblings, and their siblings probably heard it over and over and over again. Oh, you're going to leave, you're going to blah, blah, blah. So I think that probably won't be the place.
It's going to be that the boy who cried wolf soon. From what it, for a lot of people,
And that's
because they
what it
keep
is,
saying, I'm going to leave, I'm going to leave, I'm going to leave. It just becomes a boring thing to hear it, to be honest.
They want to leave, but they can't. It's
can't.
too hard to leave. Yeah.
We should have looked into that. I don't. Yeah, because they're not the type to go to those. See, it's hard. I wouldn't know. I was going to say, what about those shelters or? See, I would just. sneak
Some
off.
ones don't do shelters.
No, yeah, I know. But I'm saying, if it was that bad in the relationship, yeah. So first of all, I think for me, if I was in a real toxic relationship, I think I would try and escape at nighttime. Take my kids and go just somewhere for the week.
She's still trying to do her escape plan.
It's a runaway plan, man. Take my children and go, man.
I was saying we're going into the abusive stuff, but these are just people who are just, they've lost their, like they just lost their
This guy wants to
mojo
go
for their
straight to her
partner.
escape plan.
Why aren't you doing that? You're going to escape anyway. Because they're not listening to you. They're like, you're a waste of my breath, man. I'm going to go.
We're not trying to escape, mate.
Oh, you're trying to work on the marriage? Oh, okay.
We're trying
Don't escape. Don't live in the dark time. Face your fear. What did they say?
Straight away.
What's that thing? You don't run away. You have to face it.
to...
Everything opposite what I said before. Do the opposite. Yeah, I got nothing. Sorry.
She just forgot. Leaving. She's like, give me the divorce
Every
papers.
time
I'm
we
out.
go back, it's... Yeah, I think maybe leave at night time. And then back to you, T. I think, yeah, you can't go to your parents' say. You can't go to your siblings.
I'm crying now.
Go to a shelter.
And some ones don't go to shelters. So
I already said I don't know. Next question.
Man, we're talking about trying to make it work.
Oh,
not
sorry.
leaving.
Okay. What's the
We're
question?
taking abuse out of the
Bro,
picture.
she's
Abuse is
gone
out of the
movie.
picture.
She's gone
Okay.
straight to the movie, man.
This is just someone who's, I love him, but I'm not in love with him. But I want to stay.
And I've got a doubt.
You know what you do?
But I want the excitement back. How do I create
Sex
that?
therapy.
There you go. There you
I'm
go.
being serious.
There's a
Sex
useful.
therapy. There are actually some things out there and some toys out there that will help you to appreciate. The bunny ear rabbit is a really good one.
Oh my god.
From what I heard. But maybe they just want some excitement and the person's fa'aliti, that's why they're angry. You're not allowed to see your friends because you have to mail to me first.
We're taking abuse out of it.
No
Okay,
abuse. There's no abuse.
Tell her she wants to be abused.
Oh,
So she
no,
can-
don't get the
so she can
smack
put on
one.
her escape
Those are
plan.
really sore, apparently. Stop asking me. I don't know. Ask somebody else for advice. I don't know. Hey, guys.
Ask me.
Sid, how do you work on a relationship? Okay, if you want to stay in it and there's no
The
abuse,
wrong person, mate.
let me make this very clear. There is no abuse. You want it to work.
Don't leave at
You love
night
him,
time.
but you're not in love.
Well, I heard this podcast and they said to leave at night time.
I just got my thingy to the laptop. Really, laptop a little skew.
She said to leave at night time, so I'm planning to leave at 2 a.m. in the morning when he's sleeping.
Okay, thank you everybody for another episode of AFAKASI Scoop. Join us next week when we come back.
If we're here next week, okay?
We might have escaped.
We're going to go with her escape route. So, if you're looking for an escape route, we've got somebody to make a plan for you.
It's because I came in late. I didn't hear the whole question.
Bro, that question came 30 minutes after you came in. You
I was trying to carry on.
better shut up.
That's me. Yeah.
Okay, it's just enough. Okay, we'll end it there. Yeah, she's already done her goodbyes.
Well,
so
I
far.
think the girl that wrote in, I think
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry about my friend.
On behalf of her.
I'm sorry too. I didn't understand the question. I'm looking at my light like I'm talking to the girl. Sorry, girl. I didn't hear the question.
But if by chance you're in an abusive, it gets abusive, leave at night time, 2 a.m.
Make sure you
And
have a
ring
car.
T, she's got to
Make sure the car's got gas in it.
Don't tell your partner your escape plan, okay? Don't do it. It's partner share everything. It's like you valley, not your escape plan. If you're in an abusive relationship, don't do it.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that.
Oh my god.
You're welcome.
I got nothing else.
Me too.
We can't, I'm sorry, we can't beat that.
Finish now.
That's just top level therapist right there, man. Therapist for the 8 guys.
Or mate, it to me, mate. Come.
Don't fuck to her, man.
Don't do it, man.
Oh god.
Oh,
That's it.
Signing out.
Turn it off.
Kakitano.
It's like
So far, so
see.
far.
answered
Full
the
of a nut.
question.
we'll see you next time, everybody.
Yo.
Bye.
Bye.
Ah.